Let's get active. Okay, so I've got UNH on screen to start off with. And quite honestly, this one showed us in August that with a little bit of good news, it can jump, right? We finally broke above the 9 and 21 moving averages. We're way below the 200 still. But right now, right, this is what we like to see sometimes. A breakout, consolidation, and another breakout. So what I would watch for UNH, let's go to the weekly chart. Let's just mark some levels, okay? Now, last time before it jumped up, right, we saw the huge red weeks, right? Now, what I'll try and do is get us back up to those levels of honestly 370s, right? Now, there's no guarantee it happens, but let's see what we can make it happen. Let's see what we can make happen this month. So, mark this level here, 380 flat, right? Mark that level here. So, in addition to that one, I'm going to mark this right here, 336. 335.49, right? So September is a long month, right? It's still got 4 weeks to pan out. Realistically, I think we end somewhere around 335, maybe a little bit higher, right around the moving average. But let's say we get real busy, get active, get good news, get a recovery, and maybe get some positive interest rate, inflation news, and interest rate news. We might see it up at 380. We might. But honestly, my first price target would be 335, and then from there, we can make the rest happen. So 335 calls, but again, we want to break out of this consolidation. One thing to note again with UNH is when we were back at this level, 320, back in July, that's where we sold off, right? We got the false hope, the false breakout, and then it sold off. So be careful in case that happens again, because if that does happen again, don't be surprised if you see it trending down again, right? It had Warren Buffett and other few, investors to help it push. There's no guarantee it happens again that way. So yeah, 335 would be a nice solid price target for UNH, a conservative price target. And again, if we get really busy, we might go and try and fill the extra $60 run back up to 380. One thing I would say as well, just check the lower time frames and just understand a bit what's going on. Right, so 4 hour, you got the hammer candle up there. 1 hour, nothing real that interesting, but yeah, 4 hour, you got the hammer candle. You got a couple of, you see the golden cross. Is that? That's not even a golden cross. It's just some divergence on the moving average. Never mind. But either way, it's something to look at. But again, UNH it's had a lot of social media hype and all that kind of stuff. It's yet after the first real run up, right, with the Warren Buffett news, is yet to really show us anything consistent since then. You would honestly, after that crazy Warren Buffett news and investment news, you would honestly expect it to be up at 320, 325 right now. The fact is it's still at 309, which is kind of confusing because it even hit 315 right after they announced the Buffett news. So yeah, maybe this is the month that you see it fly back up to the 330s, 335s. What else was it? IBM or HIMS calls. IBM calls, I remember seeing that very popular in Discord. So we're stuck in between the moving averages. This is pretty cool, right? Pretty cool because right below the 200, right below the 21, looking like we're trying to start something, start getting active. We got a rejection, right? We got a rejection. That was last week. We got a rejection last week, but we also had a previous rejection. Sorry, we had a previous bear cross back here. Now, once the moving averages decide they're going to cross to the upside, we could get busy. In the meantime, I'll just say, wait for it to start breaking out, right? Because if you look at the weekly chart, we're way below the moving averages, way below the 9 and 21, way below. Look at the 4 hour chart, just like we've got some consolidation in and around moving averages. Hourly, nothing crazy. It's not really consistent. It's not really that strong. But IBM could start breaking out if the financial sector breaks out. If you see XLF showing some, consistent bullish price action, maybe it's something for us there. Hims and hers, Hims. Yeah, this one is the same old, right? Level of support is $41. Resistance is way up at 60, 64. It's pretty bearish right now, but it's hanging in above the 200 moving average, right? It's hanging above the level of support and the 200 moving average. It's holding strong. It's just about chilling, right? It's just about chilling. And I think we could. I mean, they've got issues with what it's not a lawsuit, but they've got some investigations. That's it, investigations going on. Let's see if we get any positive news. If we get any positive news, that's what honestly. Forget the technicals. The technicals right now are telling us this is either going to go lower or maybe consolidate in and around moving averages. The fundamentals is what's going to drive this, right? Fundamentals is what drove this back in July. Fundamentals is what got it flying back early in this year in April, May. Fundamentals is what's going to keep it afloat right now. So I wouldn't really touch this until I see more news in regards to investigations. Hopefully the FTC don't, mess them up. Yeah, that's it for him. I don't really have. I mean, realistically, right? If we fall below 41, we could see the 30s real quick. As in, like, and when I say 30s, I'm talking about low 30s, 33, $31. If we hold, we probably just consolidate in around that 42, $43 price point. But very importantly, like I said, we get positive news regarding their investigation or even regarding competitors, and that's when it's going to start getting busy. So it reminds me a little bit of Celsius sometimes, CLH. But as you can see, Celsius ended up, well, or not ended up, Celsius right now is 63, right? Go back to last year, we're hanging around 34, came down all the way to 21, got back up to 37, hovered around there for a few months. Finally, we're at 62. HIMS could do the exact same thing. All right, any others? ONDS calls on us. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. What the weekly chart? Weekly chart is strong, bullish, above all moving averages. Daily chart is pretty nice too. Whew, I mean, for me, it's overextended, right? I don't. Let me see. I go weekly chart. Where do we have to? We're at 586. Let's see where we got to go to. Oh, 2022 before we got to those levels. 2022. So it's over 3 years since we was at those levels. So maybe just look for that $8 level. Honestly, that's the only level I see, and I think right now it's a bit overextended. Doesn't mean I don't know the fundamentals on this company, right? I don't know what it's doing. I don't know what they've got going on. I'd have to do some analysis, but yeah, it's looking good right now. If you're already in there, keep it going. If you're not in there yet, I don't think I would touch it. It's a bit like the one they were trading last week. What was it? That's at $5 and it came down open, right? It's a bit like that. If you're already in there, cool. If you're not in there yet, wait for it to come down to moving average before you touch it. Remember last week everyone was trying to get open and they got opened up. So yeah, just be careful with that. Palantisi puts. The great Palantisi puts. Cool. So, whew, Palantisi puts. Weekly chart is just around flipping bearish now. We got the first close below the moving average in a long time, right? Last time we closed below the moving averages, back in March, really. Let's check the monthly candle for Palantisi. Monthly was wicked. We ran up to what, 180? 189. Shoot. We got the gravestone doji. So we could be seeing a reversal coming up. Weekly chart, like I said, it's just flipped bearish. We've had 2 red weeks in a row, just about held a green week last week, but it finishes a doji. Then daily chart is way below the moving averages. Yeah, it could be on for puts. I don't like saying that as a shareholder in Palantir, but I'd say that 148 level is what I'm looking for if I'm going to put to the downside. That 148 could be the one. Then 4-hour chart, we're just holding above the 200 moving average. Last time we fell below, we bounced right back. So yeah, I mean, Palantisi puts, an $8, $10 drop is definitely on the cards. All right. Let me see the chat. Hood puts. weekly chart is flipped bearish. It's come down to moving averages. But last time, we did this exact pattern last time. We got a nice run up, got an inside candle, came down to moving average. We got the run up this time, come down to moving average. I wouldn't look at puts just yet. Robinhood puts, the daily is telling us puts, right? But the weekly time frame, we can see this pattern has happened before. In the market, patterns tend to repeat themselves. This pattern here is looking like it is repeating itself. Very similar bodily closes with these candles. Very similar bounce around this level I could expect. Daily chart, pretty bleak, right? We've got the death cross selling off. Ooh, this is one of them where it's like, if it bounces here, I completely understand. If it sells off, it makes sense looking at the daily chart. It's a bit confusing. It's not clear. 4 hour is weak, but it's looking like it's trying to climb back up. Hourly is a bit too small of a time frame for me to really, get an overlook for September. But if I want to give you some levels, here's the numbers I would look at really. So down here, this is where we got a lot of price action, a lot of bouncing action here, a lot of, I'd say really a demand zone, right? 100 flat, right? We know that $100 level is a psychological level for a lot of stocks. That $100 level is the same for Robinhood. Let's see what happens around 100, right? We fell below 100 briefly at the beginning of August. We rallied back, right? So $100 level is where I'd look to see what happens. If it starts to recover at $100 level, then I think we're going back to 111, 117 very quick. If we sell off, let's start looking at the $96 level, which was a previous resistance for Robinhood. So yeah, it looks like there could be something brewing, but again, different time frames are telling a different story. Weekly looks like it's just pulling back to go higher. Daily looks like we flipped bearish. We've got to go to the death cross, and we're looking like we want to push lower, especially if we get to that $100 level and we break below. I keep calling it Robinhood. Webull calls? Oh, did I read that right? All right. Let me see how the monthly closed on Webull. Webull hasn't been, that active that long. Oh, Webull closed inside month. Wow. Weekly chart. Yes. Weekly chart looked like it pulled back to the moving averages for us. Daily chart looks like it's pulled back to 200 EMA for us, and that 200 EMA is a very, very critical price point for Webull. In fact, not just for Webull, for many, many stocks. So we pulled back to 200 EMA in August, the first day of August. We recovered. We went all the way to 17 eventually. We've pulled back all the way to 200 EMA beginning or end of August, maybe beginning of September. We see a very similar price action to what we saw back here. This is interesting. I'll wait for it to show a real strong sign of reversal, show that it's gonna, start coming up again, and then we could really hit something with this Webull, right? A smooth trade back up to the 17s, a smooth swing trade. Daily is looking bleak, so I wouldn't touch it just yet. Sorry, 4 hours looking bleak, so I wouldn't touch it just yet. But I do like the daily because it's just pulling back, getting ready to load up again. The contracts are cheap. I like this kind of play. I like this kind of play. All right. Yeah. These are some good stocks you guys are putting out. Any more? Baidu calls, AMD calls. Yeah, AMD, I'm going to do AMD, so I'm not going to do that right now. Baidu. This is that Baidu, right? No, that was Baidef. What? Baidu. Yeah, what's up? Okay, first of all, let's go to the monthly chart. New month. Monthly chart just closed green. Monthly chart just closed above the 9-day moving average for the first time in how many months? 4 months. We might start to see some push. Baidu. So, I don't really trade those Chinese stocks, those Chinese stuff, but it does look like the weekly is looking pretty good. We've got a break of the monthly high back from July. So that's important to know. That monthly high from July was up here. We closed above that. Daily chart is very overbought. But it could continue. 4 hour looks like continue. But what level to watch for Baidu? If I pull up the daily chart again, right? So we've broken that July high, right? We've broken that July high. It'll probably look to get back up to around 97, 98, even $99. Okay, Yeah, $99 price target for Baidu. Nothing crazy, but that's more for this week. I won't say it's a monthly, I won't say it's a monthly target. Oracle puts. Oracle puts are definitely on the cards. Weekly, let's see that red week. Yeah, that's a nice. Oracle could continue falling down, right? $213 price target for Oracle. $213.21 for Oracle. That's my price target. But hold on, sorry. Before that, 217. Well, actually, 216.88 right here. That's where I would look at, taking Oracle to. That reversal price point from back here, 96, right? Reversal price point from back here before we eventually broke out. That's where I want us to fall to, right? It's a little bit of a nice pullback suddenly occurring after a strong run up. Just come down to 216, come down to 213, and then we might get busy. But I think 4 hour chart is always also bearish. Yeah. Oracle puts is looking good. Neo calls. Mr. Independent, let's see what you got for us. So go to the weekly chart to start off with. It's an $8 stock, so I'm not really looking at the monthly like that. Weekly close above the 9 and 21. That's nice, right? We are back above the moving averages. Daily is a bit overextended, but we'll get approaching that 200 EMA kind of closer. 4 hour, pulling back a little bit. Honestly, Neo, I don't know enough about this. 1 hour looks good, but I don't think I would touch this right now personally. Yeah, sorry. It looks all right though, but I don't think I would touch it personally. It's not showing me enough right now. CCL calls, and I think I'll give you guys one more. CCL. So we're looking at Carnival. Okay. So we got a nice monthly close above the 200 EMA. Okay. This is where you can see stocks starting to really push. So as you saw, weekly chart. As you saw, right, we're at the highs of the year. We haven't been this high. In fact, this year, last year, this is the highest it's been in 3 years, right? 4 years even, 4 years. This is pretty impressive. Please mute yourself, guys. I'm hearing people chomping on the mic. Come on, please. Just mute. It's okay. All right, but we've got a closer of an inverted hammer candle right there. We're a bit overextended. I see us pulling back a little bit to maybe around 31.30 before we trend higher. Might even come back to these, this previous reversal high, around $30.58. But I do like CCR. I like that it's consistently moving, consistently trending upwards. It's showing us more and more as we go forward. Yeah, this is pretty good. This is a pretty good setup. Not the most ideal setup, but it's pretty good. Okay. I'll give you guys one more. Alibaba. Is that what we're going to go with? Oh, shoot. So China had a day on Friday. Weekly chart is cool for Alibaba, right? We might chase that $140 price point and get back up to those, what was it, 148? Yeah, 140 and then 148 from March. Yeah, Alibaba is looking good on a weekly time frame. Daily time frame is obviously overextended, but we've got a huge engulfing candle which wipes out like 4 previous candles. So that's pretty nice to see. 4 hour, we got a Dragonfly Doji as well. This could get busy. It could get busy, but yeah, $140, $148 price targets would be what I'm looking at first. All right. So that's what you guys had for me. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about what I have for you guys. I'm going to start with our very own Nike, okay? This is where we're going to get busy now. These are my top stocks to watch for the month, right? So, monthly chart. Look at that, right? Look at the monthly chart. It's sitting on the moving average, right? Sitting there. Now, think about this, right? Back in April, Nike was way down at $52. Since then, we've had 4 green months. It's a consistent stock and it's a sleeper, right? This is the first time I've seen Nike close the month, as it did. Let me just show you how it closed the month, right? So look at the weekly chart. So we broke out June, whatever, we bounced, and July we started. What am I looking? I must be thinking of something else then. Anyway, never mind. Either way, we're at a previous level where we sold off. Now, the reason I'm highlighting that is because these are the kind of psych levels, order blocks, whatever is out here. These are the kind of levels where it does sell off. Now, all I need to see is Nike hold at $74, $75 level, and I'll really start thinking that we can go test $80, test $82. Let me just mark it out for you, actually, make it a little bit easier so you can get the exact numbers I'm looking at. So there's a wick up here. There's an important wick up here, right before a crazy reversal back in February, 82.44, right? Crazy. The reason I'm highlighted that is because it was at the highs of this year, 82.44, and then we sold off heavily. But we can easily go back and test those highs, right? Back in May, I think even April is when I was buying the shares and I was saying to you guys, buy the shares, buy the shares. We're going to go test that $82.44 level for good old Nike. Okay? Next up, Cheesecake Factory. You guys know I love this stock. You guys know that I'm always banging on about this stock. I think this is the month where we go higher. Reason being, so we had a strong 4-month run where we were just green, 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 green. August was a red month. We pulled back a little bit. That's fine. I needed a little bit of a higher time frame pullback. Weekly, we're hanging in and around the 9-day moving average right there, right? I don't think that we're going to fall too much lower. If we do, we might see a $2, $3 drop, maybe to the moving average, but I think we're going to go higher this month. If you look at Cheesecake's financials, and I'm talking about fundamentals now, the numbers are good, right? They've got a good business model going on. You guys know about Cheesecake Factory. You might know about North Italia. You might know about Flower Child. Cheesecake Factory's got it going on. Now, let's zoom out a little bit, right? We haven't been up at this level, since 2021, right? 2021. Look at a nice recovery, right? Almost a W recovery for a big win for Cheesecake Factory. There's a reason that we're up here, and I don't think we're going to fall lower than $59, $60. I see us more likely going back up to the upside. So 65.86 is my first price target for Cheesecake Factory, right? Right here, right? 65.86 is the number. All right, 65.86. That's my first price target for Cheesecake Factory, and I think we'll see that pretty quickly. They announced a really good earnings back in July. And then you need to understand that, when it sells off like this after good earnings, it ain't nothing to worry about. So this is the only issue with Cheesecake Factory, the daily chart. We're stuck around, just around the 9-day moving average. We're stuck right below it. Now, realistically, I think we can, once we get some momentum, some buyers step in, we can get some volume. We'll start, pushing up about $3, $4, right? We've done this before. You guys were with us when we swing traded it back in July. We can do this again. So 65.86 is my price target for Cheesecake Factory. If we do break that, September, we could start seeing them $69 levels again, right? I don't know if it's going to happen. Who knows? And then let me just mark something for you guys, right? So realistically, I'm going to go from here. I'm going to go all the way across. All right. This is just like a level of support, right? Just a trend line even. Right, we came down, we broke it, we came down to that level many, many times. I like Cheesecake Factory where we're at. I'm happy with it as a company. Yeah. Obviously, if I talk about Cheesecake Factory, I'm talking about PayPal too. So PayPal. Let's go to the monthly candle. We finally got a green month after a horrible July. Right? Got a nice green month. We're still below the moving averages. We're getting some convergence, a little bit of convergence on the moving averages. The weekly time frame, though, we're starting to get busy. Problem is, we're still stuck below the 9 and 21. We got a bearish candle here. Crazy week back in July. Crazy week because of earnings. We started recovering, right? This is an earnings recovery play, pretty much. PayPal's strong business model. PayPal's doing their thing. I think this starts to recover this month. I think we can see that $74 level. I think we can go test those $78, $79 levels this month. I would love to see PayPal pick up this week, start the week hot. Unfortunately, September can be a very bearish month. So we're going to look at the seasonality for PayPal and let's see what we're doing. Look at that. That's the issue there. August, 64%. Whew. Let's go. This is 10 years as well. Seasonality of 10 years. So 64% of time, 64% of the Augusts in the last 10 years, we've had positive change. Only 30% we've had positive in September's. So PayPal could be bearish this month. Unfortunately, that's just me being real. September usually be the worst month of the year for PayPal. Either way, if it sells off, right, you can look at those contracts for $78, $80. for November, December, where you see a lot better seasonality results. So yeah, I like PayPal, but I'm going to be realistic. Golden Cross could be about to form on a daily time frame. 4 hour chart looked like we got some action. We got a nice cross back in a couple weeks ago in August. We could be seeing some with PayPal, but let's see if we can break that. Break out and really go test that moving average at 72.25 as well. It's a few things to consider with PayPal. It's a few things to consider, but I yeah, I think it's a low risk play. Honestly, I think it's done this big sell off. Earnings wasn't too bad, but yeah, that's it. That's with PayPal. Let's talk about Amazon. Right, we're going to talk about Amazon. We're going to talk about AMD. We're going to talk about Google. The usual stuff, right? So Amazon 228.70. Cool, that's nice. Honestly, I'm trying to get us back up to 240 this September. I'm trying to see Amazon back at 240. Now, seasonality comes in 52%. I don't mind that. Amazon is a huge company. Amazon is a big stock. Amazon isn't like PayPal, right? Amazon's not looked at like PayPal is on Wall Street. Amazon, if the month goes as planned, we get the interest rate cut, whether it's 25 bips or whatever it is. Amazon should really see that 240 price point. My 240 price point for Amazon is really the price target. Back when it dropped to 215, 213, back in the beginning of the month of August, I said I'm looking for Amazon to recover. It started that recovery very well. And looking at the weekly candles, we're above the moving averages on all time frames. We're looking nice. Amazon is definitely a sleeper. Amazon is definitely one that I look at and I'm like, yeah, 4 hour bounce on moving average. We've come down a little bit since. We hit those highs of 232, but I think we're just loading up to go higher. Okay. Hourly chart, yeah, Friday was a sell off, a bit of a dud, but it's okay, right? So do I go Google, AMD, or SoFi next? I think I go Google because I did Amazon 212, right? Look at the weekly chart. So smooth, so consistent. Let's look at the monthly chart. Right, we're up there. We're up at highs that we haven't even been at in years. The weekly, we're doing our thing. The daily, consistency, right? Every time Google pulls back to the 21-day moving average, it goes higher. Pull back to 21-day moving average. Doesn't matter about inside candle, outside candle, it's coming back up, right? Honestly, it's hard to say, because I've seen someone ask for puts earlier. It's hard to say that this is a good time to short it. It's hard to say that. If anything, it might come down $4 or $5 to 207 around the moving average and then continue the uptrend. But yeah, I look at seeing this up to 225, 230 this month. Yeah, that's what I would look at for that. I guess we save AMD for last. SoFi. Now this is pretty cool for me, right? Let's look at the monthly candle. Look at that. That's a beautiful 3 months right there. Beautiful. This is cold, right? SoFi has done its thing. Nobody can. Oh, come on. Who's unmuting themselves? You can get the admins to send him out. Wait. I think it's done. All right, cool. So, monthly candle for SoFi, really strong. We saw the highest, I think the highest level since 2022. Let me check that, factually check that. 2021. Oh yeah, SoFi, we back. Right? SoFi going to keep expanding their customer base, keep enhancing their business model. They've got a very solid project going on. Daily time frame, let's look at it. Right? Daily, we closed inside day on SoFi, right? So hopefully it doesn't cause some consolidation, but let's see. I'd say, honestly, my price target was already $26 for this year. I'm upping it to $30, but I'm in September 19th calls. And I think with SoFi, just the pullbacks, just buy them up, eat them up, right? Look at the pullback. The pullback, eat up the pullback. The pullback, eat up the pullback. That's all I'm going to say for SoFi. I'm pretty bullish on SoFi. I've been bullish. And yeah, I like SoFi. Now, we got to talk about AMD, right? This is AMD. This is AMD right here. Let's go to the monthly candle. And look, we close inside month. Ooh, inside month on AMD. 3 strong green months. We got closed. We got a red month. We closed inside month. Weekly chart. Hey, we were overextended. We pull back. Daily time frame. We're below the moving averages. Now we know Wall Street don't like AMD, but we know what AMD is capable of, right? So we're at 162 right now. I fully expect this to come down to 159, maybe even further, right? Maybe even further down. We know what Wall Street thinks of AMD, right? They have a female CEO. You think that's going to go well? Let's be honest, right? And let's just be real, right? If AMD does come down further, realistically, we could see 148. Realistically, this could be that next level if it does continue coming down. I don't think it will, but realistically, it's a possibility. So for me, just watch AMD because it might also trade in this range right under the moving averages. If we catch fire now, if we catch heat, if we get interest rates dropping, if we get good news from Jerome Powell or Trump or anything, we could see AMD back at 178, 180 very quickly. It's a long month, right? If we hit 186, 190, great. My price target by January is 200 for this. So we're well on our way, especially because look how far we've come. We were down at $78 back in April, and that's why we've doubled since then, right? Because we've recovered strong. So hopefully we get some more price action on AMD that we like. Hopefully we see, honestly, hopefully we see it back at 178 instead of 182. Sorry, instead of 148. Hopefully we see it back up at 180 instead of 148. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with those. Oscar, that was another one I want to talk about. So Oscar, you look at the weekly chart, you see we've got the golden cross, we see the bullish momentum before the pullback. Now, beware. Oscar has a lot of crazy price action that it can pull off. It's what it did back here, right? We jumped up to $22 in June, sold off all the way. It's a level of support around 1348. Beware of that in case we do continue selling off. We're above the moving average on all time frames, so it is bullish. This looks like just a bit of a pullback. I wouldn't be surprised if Oscar can break through 1785 and hit $18 and maybe even higher, right? Again, a lot of things are going to be need to take in consideration, but it's a possibility. So yeah, I mean, those is my main stock to watch, really. Affirm had its day Friday. You got a few like special mentions like Oklo, which I'm looking at. It looks like a good setup. Slowly getting ready. The Walmart's usually, hanging at 96. Maybe start making this run back up to $100. The usual stuff, really. Yeah, that's mainly it for me. So let me know what other, if you got any other couple stocks to watch. ANET. There's a few different stocks that are showing us, some setups and some signs. So let me check chat real quick. Do you mind going over targets for PayPal for notes? Just kidding. Oh, nice joke, bruh. I couldn't even hear properly. I think it's solved now. Thank you. It's a bit hard when I'm sharing screen. I can't see who's actually talking. I don't want to talk over them because last time it just cancels each other out. It's just too noisy. NVIDIA, RKLB. So wait, hold on. Right. So is NVIDIA and RKLB calls or puts? CoreWeave ain't doing nothing yet. They ain't get it. It's not ready yet. EOSE. $6 stock coming down to moving average though. I like. Weekly chart is strong. Weekly chart is a nice setup. Daily looks like it's actually, we've got a doji though, so be careful of the reversal right here. EOSE looks cool though. It looks cool. SE's on for more puts, bro. SE's gonna drop to like 49.88. NVIDIA. NVIDIA ain't really gonna be puts like that unless tech drops. Weekly is still cool. Higher time frames are definitely stronger for NVIDIA. See, they're fine. RKLB Rocket Lab. Yeah, hold on. Oh, weekly chart for RKLB is nice. Daily chart nice too. Oh, this could be something. Let's go back up to $50, $51. $50.88. Okay, $50.88. Oh, yeah. Let's go test those August highs. Macy's. Macy's. See, a lot of these things are looking like they're coming down to go higher again. All right. Cool, cool, cool. This is cool. Yeah, Macy's, I wouldn't really touch it though. But for me, if it does start running up, that's the level, $14 flat. That's the key level. It's where we reversed last time, bounced. And it's also where I'd say a strong level of resistance is for Macy's. Qualcomm. Yeah, this is looking nice. Yeah, Qualcomm core is looking nice. Is it? Yes, earnings. All of these stocks are just earnings recoveries, aren't they? Right. So Qualcomm sold off to 144 after earnings. Is recovered to 160, and it could still go up to 163. This is an earnings recovery, man. So many stocks as earnings recoveries. In fact, speaking of earnings, this is the last one I'll leave you with. Zscaler has earnings tomorrow. Okay, keep this on your radar. Keep this on your radar. Look. I'll leave you with this before we leave. Back-to-back red months after we had 4 green months in a row. Weekly time frame, in and around the moving averages. We're getting a lot of wick action here, but we've got the moving averages consolidating. Sorry, we've got the price action consolidating in between the moving averages. Daily time frame. We tried to break out. We formed a base. Tried to break out. Held above the moving averages. Are we still going to go up? 4-hour chart. Looks so janky, but hey, it looks like something is brewing because we're starting to get above the 200 moving average again. Earnings tomorrow. That is going to be very interesting. Right after hours, you've got earnings. That's going to be very interesting. I want to see how that pans out. Because, yeah, a few stocks have done some madness with earnings, right? A few stocks have done madness with earnings. Look at CrowdStrike with earnings. So, yeah, Zscaler is definitely going to be interesting. And I think honestly, bro, we could do something. I think we could do something this week, What's this, bro? Yeah. So this guy's already coming out with his negative stuff. This is why I wait now. I used to do those weekly watch lists on a Sunday, on the 3-day weekend. Now I wait till the Monday. This guy's already coming out with his little bit of negativity. So just be careful, man. Be careful before he says some crazy stuff and then sells the market off. So yeah. Let me see. Any of these stocks from I'm not going to talk about Marvell. Marvell had a crazy earnings sold off. Oh wait, Marvell dropped. Hold on. Okay, Marvell went too crazy. I didn't realize it dropped 18%. Yeah, Marvell did. So maybe Marvell is on the radar, but let it finish doing what it's going to do. It might, Marvell might. Marvell gone dummy. All right, shoot. All right, cool. Either way, folks. I think that's the main bread and butter for today. Really, that's the main bread and butter for today. I think we've got some stocks on our radar, really. Like, you're going to see the notes. Shout out Hannah Lemon, the team, for, helping out with the notes and stuff like that. But honestly, I think we've got some stuff on our hands. Let's just see if interest rates get dropped this month. I really wonder. Either way, normally September is a bearish month. Look at the S&P 500. Let's look at seasonality real quick before I depart. September 50%, worst percentage of all the percents in the last 33 years. All right, let's go last 10 years. 2015, shoot. 11 years, let's do 11 years, whatever. 40%. See, September 40%. QQQ, let's look at the NASDAQ, folks. 30%. See? Ooh. Let's go. No, let's go since the crash. 41% September. So seasonality is showing us. This is an important part. Important. Notice this. Notice this. It's two sides to this coin. One, September tends to be more bearish. You're seeing it with the seasonality, right? That's 18 years worth of data right there. 41%. Only 41% of the time it was positive change. Right? More time it was negative. Now, think about this. We got that, and then we've got on the 17th of September or 18th of September, of one of them two. I think it's 17th. I think it's a Wednesday. We've got FOMC. We're gonna hear our interest rate is gonna get dropped. We're gonna hear what's going on. Because remember, there was no FOMC in August. The last FOMC was July. So September 17th or 16th, it might be 16th. Either way, FOMC is coming. That day is a key decision that's going to be made and announced, right? So we're going to probably watch that press conference together. You know how it goes. But hey, that is going to be important. We're going to see if, we're going to see obviously the regular economic conditions, but we're also going to see what's going on with the rates. We're going to see what decisions are being made. So yeah, just be aware that September 16, 17 period is going to be interesting. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it pans out. But all in all, you guys know the deal. If you got any questions in the chat, tag me. And if you enjoyed it, just say thanks in the Discord. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys tap into Transpired as well. And yeah, love and peace. Hope you guys enjoyed your Labor Day. You earned a good rest. Tomorrow we're back at it.